We've got some great news to talk about today involving the San Jose Sharks claiming Barclay Goodrow off waivers, which is a much bigger deal than some people might think. This is a massive help for the Rangers this offseason to create just over $3.6 million in extra cap space now to go out there and possibly sign a truly impactful free agent this offseason. Now, it's not like this team still has an insane amount of cap space, but getting rid of Barclay Goodrow here for zero assets as well. That's the big thing, is the fact that the Sharks took him off waivers, which means the Rangers aren't giving up a second round pick in a prospect or a third round pick in a high tier prospect or a first round pick. They're not having to give up anything at all to get off Barclay Goodrow's contract, which is a massive help for this team. And I'm not going to lie either. I am kind of shocked that the Rangers were able to get off Barclay Goodrow's contract for absolutely nothing. Like I said, I kind of figured there'd be an asset going along Barclay, an asset or two possibly, to get off that contract, as he does have 3 more years left with a $3.64 million cap hit. But and then the things here, I am very happy about this move for the Rangers. This is a big help for this team, and the San Jose Sharks have done us a pretty big favor, which is quite nice. This helps out the team a lot here. And back in the summer of 2022, the Rangers ended up having to trade Patrick Nemeth alongside a 2025 second-round pick and a conditional 2026 second-round pick to the Arizona Coyotes for just Ty Emberson, who we now know obviously played a bit there with the Hartford Wolfpack and ended up going over to the San Jose Sharks, actually, which is kind of funny there on waivers. But that's kind of the thing there, is we ended up giving up a second-round pick and a conditional second to get rid of Patrick Nemeth, who's on that bad contract. A guy like Barclay there would have gone for at least about that, if not a little less, a little more. But either way, having it off this contract for absolutely nothing is a massive help for this team, who don't have an abundance of draft picks at this point. We've kind of given away a lot over the last offseason and trade deadlines trying to upgrade this team. This team doesn't have a lot of draft picks now, or even a lot of prospects. I think there's a decent amount of good prospects, but you don't want to have to keep taking away from that, just get off a bad contract. And getting rid of him for nothing is very, very nice. Putting on waivers, and now he's gone. That was a big, big help for this team. And Molly Walker and the New York Post did kind of come out and say that there was on Tuesday that there was a possibly kind of prearranged deal for the Rangers to put him up on waivers there and for the Sharks to claim him, and that is exactly what happened there. I was surprised that there was a deal obviously there for them to kind of claim off waivers there for free, because like I said, I figured there was going to be an asset going alongside him, but this is a massive, massive help for this team. And before we take a look at kind of the moves the Rangers could possibly make and kind of what this cap space opening up kind of truly means for this team, let's take a look here kind of how Barclay Goodrow did this season. I think he was all right in the regular season, definitely offensively, did not do great at all. Ended up having 12 points, 4 goals, 8 assists in 80 games played. We know he can be a solid kind of defensive forward at times, be fairly physical, obviously can kill penalties there, good on the draws for the most part. I think is a solid kind of more defensive kind of forward, definitely in that sense, can play center and a wing. He's nice to have on the fourth line there, but at a $3.64 million cap hit, it's just too expensive. I was not a big fan at all. I was actually kind of mad when this deal was originally signed. I thought it was an overpay by a decent amount there, especially the term that it was. Wasn't too happy then. This was before I was making YouTube videos and stuff like that. But either way, I was not happy about this deal. It obviously has not turned out to be a great one for the Rangers. We're off it now, though, which is quite nice. And throughout the playoffs, though, this is where Barclay kind of really took a big step up in his overall game. I think he played pretty great in the playoffs there, playing a good two-way game, killing penalties, obviously being pretty lethal there, shorthanded as well, getting a couple shorthanded goals there. I think played a pretty good game in the playoffs, as he ended up having 16 games played with the Rangers, 6 goals, 2 assists, 8 points. Like I said, 2 of them were shorthanded goals as well. The other 4 were even strength. So had a pretty great offensive performance in the playoffs there. He had a really great playoff run with the Rangers, I think, but the other 2 playoff runs weren't amazing, you could say, and obviously this regular season was pretty terrible. He's not worth that $3.64 million cap hit, and I just don't think this playoff run kind of shows truly what he does as an overall player. I mean, he had one really good playoff run with the Rangers there, but like I said, the other 2 weren't the best. Regular season has not been the best either, so I do think this is a good move for the Rangers here to get off this cap hit, get off the money, open up some more cap space, and have the chance to possibly sign a top 4 caliber defenseman or a top 6 caliber forward. And we're going to take a look at that kind of opportunity right now. So with Barclay Goodrow's cap hit coming off the books, that now gives the Rangers a total of $12.85 million in cap space, which is very, very nice. Now, there is a couple guys here that are still restricted free agents that are going to need new contracts. We know Kaapo Kakko signed his one-year deal with a $2.4 million cap hit not too long ago. But there's also two other restricted free agents who are going to need their new contracts to be re-signed back with the Rangers, and that is Ryan Lindgren and Braden Schneider, who I think combined, both of them together, will probably make something around $6 million. So that leaves the Rangers with about $6.85 million in cap space to go out there and acquire another couple pieces in free agency. That could be a top 6 caliber forward, a top 4 caliber defenseman, or a bottom pairing D-man and a nice little kind of fourth line center possibly. That is kind of the option the Rangers are looking at right now, I'd imagine. So we'll have to wait and see what happens and what they want to do with prospects like Brett Berard and obviously Brennan Othmann. Do they think they can make an impact at the NHL level next season? That's kind of the question here, because I think one of them can play in the top 6, more likely a guy like Brennan Othmann alongside possibly Crichton Zibanejad. Maybe that could work there, or maybe they want one of those guys on the third line, push Kakko down to the fourth. There's a lot of different options they can go with, but I would imagine they're probably looking for more than likely a kind of bottom pairing guy to possibly go alongside either Trouba or Schneider on that kind of third left-handed defenseman spot, and possibly get a top 6 caliber right winger to go alongside Kreider and Zibanejad more than likely. So we'll see what happens there, but like I said, about $6.85 million in cap space to get a few really talented players to boost this team a lot, because it kind of really depends as well on what they see with their prospects. Adam Edstrom, Brett Berard, and Brennan Othmann are all forwards who I think have the ability to be NHL ready next season. And, do they fully believe they can make a good impact right away? If so, a guy like Adam Edstrom would be a perfect fit on that fourth line there to play left wing, center, or right wing potentially. You also got guys, like I said, like Brennan Othmann and Brett Berard, who could be great fits on that third line there to provide some good scoring possibly. Knock down a guy like Kakko to the fourth line potentially. So there are a lot of different moves we could see, and one of them could potentially be, trading away a guy like Kakko to open up an extra $2.4 million in cap space, and then have, an Othmann or a Berard kind of take that spot there on that third line. Like I said, I think Othmann should kind of really get a good look there, possibly being on this team full-time to start next season, and I think he'd be a nice guy to fit alongside, Hedel and possibly Cooley on that third line there to provide some extra scoring there. Maybe you do kind of look to trade off Kakko there possibly, or maybe you throw him on the fourth line there. There are definitely some options we could see with this team, but we'll have to wait and see what happens, and I'll definitely have some more videos talking about this later on. But taking a look now at some true kind of top 6 or top 4 caliber defensemen that the Rangers could go after in free agency if they choose to do so, which I think they'll probably potentially be able to get one of these guys, if not some other kind of top 6 caliber forward, is more likely what's going to happen. But a top 4 caliber defenseman is definitely still a possibility. Depends what they see with their prospects, though. Taking a look now at some top 6 caliber forward options for the Rangers in free agency, you got guys like Tyler Bertuzzi, Anthony Mantha, Jonathan Marchessault, Jake DeBrusk, Matt Duchene, Tyler Toffoli, and Patrick Kane, who has kind of been talked about a bit, coming back possibly. So a lot of different good targets we could go after. A guy like Daniel Sprong could be a nice kind of cheaper option who could be a bit underrated piece to pick up there. So there are a lot of different options we could see for that kind of top 6 right wing spot that we definitely still need. So one of those guys I'd be quite happy with. Tyler Bertuzzi would be a really nice fit because he does have that physical side to him. Jonathan Marchessault is a very talented player. Might be a little on the expensive side compared to some of these other guys on a short-term deal, but he is very, very talented offensively. He's obviously, won that Conn Smythe trophy, being the MVP of the playoffs for the Golden Knights when they won their cup. So he's got a lot of experience there. There's a lot of talented players in free agency who could be nice pickups for this team. And if this team would prefer to go after a top 4 caliber defenseman on the back end of things there, I think a guy like Nikita Zadorov would be a phenomenal fit on this team. He's 6'6". He's got huge size there. He's got some playoff experience there. He's a pretty talented overall defenseman. Decent offensively, can join the rush a bit there, but defensively is very, very solid there. Very tough guy, can fight, can hit, can block shots. He can do all that good stuff. So I think he'd be a great fit on this team, possibly going alongside a guy like, obviously, Jacob Trouba there to make an absolutely just massive deep pair, or possibly alongside a guy like Braden Schneider as well. So a lot of great options out there available in free agency for this team, especially after getting rid of Barclay Goodrow's $3.64 million contract. This opens up a decent amount more cap space for this team. They could open up even more if they traded away a guy like Ryan Lindgren, possibly, who would have some pretty great value, I'd imagine, although I would not mind keeping him at all because he is, the deep partner to our number 1 defenseman, one of the top defensemen in the entire NHL, Adam Fox, or possibly trade away a guy like Kaapo Kakko, who obviously hasn't quite lived up to the expectations of a second overall pick. has kind of regressed a bit, last season from the previous one as well. So maybe they'll trade him away, save an extra $2.4 million, and give his spot to one of the young prospects like a Brennan Hoffman or Brett Berard, which I would not be against at all. But anyways, let me know your thoughts on all these kind of guys I talked about here. Who do you want to see the Rangers pick up here? I have a ton of videos already out talking about some of these players, and I'll have a bunch more coming out later on as we get closer and closer to free agency as well. But anyways, in the comment section down below, like I said, let me know all your guys' thoughts on this kind of video here. Obviously, getting rid of Barclay Goodrow there, opening up $3.64 million in cap space, and on some of these free agents who you want to see the Rangers target. Let me know your kind of guys' top targets on the defensive side of things there, as well as on the forward side of things there. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe for daily New York Rangers content, and also smash that like button because it does help out the channel a ton. I would really, really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next one. Bye.